lost the music again.
It doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it.
Goodness.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Dewey. What a morning, huh?
What an absolute bat crap kind of morning it has been. Um,
Yeah.
I,
It's
I'm,
kind of
I'm
a,
here, and I got some stuff I want to talk about, and I know you have some stuff you want to talk about. Just want everybody to know I just lost a piece of my world to COVID-19. My high school football coach, who is large part of the reason why I got into coaching and why I coach the way that I do, Bill Ty, uh, contracted COVID-19 about a week ago, and he passed away sometime this morning before dawn. I obviously, because these people are confined, people don't find out about it right away. News doesn't spread. Um, this He's somebody who, in any other circumstance, I'd be right now trying to figure out how to make flights to get to his funeral, and know that I cannot do that because of this. The fact that he undoubtedly would have people lined up around the block for his funeral and to speak, and would have had numerous people at his bedside over this time. The fact that he undoubtedly had to do this all by himself. Um, Tough. He survived World War II, combat veteran. He survived lots and led lots of people to become better people, and he's gone. But that might influence what I have to say on some of the things that you want to talk about today, Lisa. So
yeah.
that's one of those laughs when you want to cry. Um, how you doing?
I just, yeah, my heart is breaking for you. And you got the news while we were doing our pre-production meeting this morning, and, you know, had the opportunity to bow out of this and didn't want to. So we're here. And, I'm kind of at this place, Dewey, where I feel like I should just throw a warning out there and say there may be some four-letter words today, because I'm there.
It's
I'm
okay.
really angry.
Neither of our channels are
Yeah,
monetized, so we're not losing anything. It's all good.
right. Well, I just am I I'm really angry about what's going on. I'm angry that you lost your coach and can't be there to honor his life. And I'm angry that there's still people out there not taking this seriously and are coaching tennis and playing tennis and opening their retail establishments when the whole city has been told not to do that. I I feel like I've turned into this crazy, nasty, preachy, bitchy woman who is on her soapbox all the time and, posting things about why we need to wash our hands, why we need to stay home, why we need to wear masks. And yet there's still people out there saying this is not a big deal, saying it's nothing more than the flu, that the numbers are not accurate, that it's, some made up hoax. I'm hearing all sorts of stuff, and I get it. I get that people don't trust the government and may not trust the news media, because we certainly have reasons to question the validity of what we're hearing. But at the same time, Dewey just lost somebody. I've had one of my children have a scare where she was exposed and had to get tested, and thank God the test was negative. But the anxiety that that provoked in her and in us, not being able to be with her as she went through all that, was overwhelming. And the worst things go through your head. What happens if she is sick? How I can't be there, and who's going to take care of her, and who's going to bring her matzo ball soup? I mean, this is what Jewish mamas do, and we are in a situation where our hands are tied. And I'm livid. There's a retail establishment in Atlanta that is open for curbside retail exchange. It's a non-essential business. It's been ordered closed with all other non-essential businesses in Atlanta, and they're choosing to ignore the order and be open. I don't get it.
I mean, I guess I get it, because I know that people are at their wits' end and they, have to make a living. And if you have a retail establishment, you might have a landlord that's saying, you got to pay your rent. And I understand where the pressures are. I don't understand where the final decision is made that financial health is more important than people's lives. I just don't. I've not been able to come to grips with that across the board. But I certainly hear tennis coaches talking about posting pictures and videos of them being out doing things. I saw a school in Tennessee posting pictures of their staff that kind of lives in the dormitories and things, having a little tournament during this time. I'm sorry, but no.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at, and I'm angry. I'm frustrated. None of us likes being stuck at home. This is not fun. It might have been fun at the beginning to, feel like you were on a little mini vacation, but this has long since ceased to be fun. I'm ready to be out in the world. I'm ready to go back to do the things that I enjoy doing, just like everybody else is. But you know what? My needs don't come before the community's needs. My needs don't come before the world's needs. And what the community and the world need right now is for me and everybody else to stay the hell home. And I just don't understand it. We have the science out there, that's showing us what works and what doesn't work. Yes, there are questions about treatments and causes and all of these things, but you know what? That's the nature of science. Things change every day. And sorry, I'm losing my earpiece here.
No worries. And I'm checking
Things
stuff
things
to see stuff coming
yeah.
in too, so it's all good.
Things change every day, and the scientists are doing their jobs. The medical professionals are doing their jobs by changing the recommendations as they get more information. That's what science is. It's taking the data, the facts, and formulating a response to it, right? So as you get more data and more facts, your response necessarily changes. And for people to say, well, one day they're saying to do this and the next day they're saying to do that, so this is all a bunch of BS. No, it's not. It's responding to the information we have in the moment and doing the best we all can to put a stop to this so our world can start functioning again. So for those of you who are choosing to ignore the recommendation to stay home, I'm pissed off at you. And I think it's really selfish. And I don't know. I've started blocking people on social media. I just can't look at it anymore. I just can't. I can't listen to it and I can't look at it.
I guess one of the things that troubles me that I haven't figured out how I'm going to move beyond is, some places are going to be the ones who decide it makes sense to open things, to open up first, and there are those who will be last. I'm probably left to my own devices, one of those who would be on the latter end of me going back out and intermingling, and because I believe that there will be another spike, but I also know that somebody has to be first in order for me to fall after them. And so when are they going to feel like it's safe? And I don't know what those answers are. And I began a couple weeks ago, almost immediately upon closing down, I started thinking about what things would look like as we began opening back up again. And there are some really smart people who are not just trying to make political points, but really looking at what will the world look like as we come into our new normal, until such time as there is a real vaccine available. And even once there is a vaccine, how that vaccine is distributed is something that people have to think about. It's not going to be, okay, we have a vaccine and now everybody go to your doctor and stand in line to get the vaccine, yet you have a waiting room full of people, some of whom may have COVID-19, and they're spreading it amongst all of those other people. So the vaccine, does it work if you have already contracted it? So, would it kill the the virus once it's in you? Who knows? Like, there's so many
Right.
things that have to be thought about by really smart people, and none of us have the ability to think of all of them. And those who are choosing to get their information from limited places, I don't care what your limited place is. This isn't a political statement, other than if you're only getting your information from a small itty bit of sources, you're not getting the mastermind type of group that we talk about. You know, we talk about
Right.
online things going forward. Mastermind groups are a huge deal, and mastermind groups are about having enough smart people with varying viewpoints in the same space to be able to think through stuff.
Right. And I mean, I think that's why, we're seeing these coalitions of governors coming together that are in contiguous states to develop plans for how they're going to jumpstart their local economies and their local businesses and their local schools, once it's deemed safe to do so. And I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take these small groups, these mastermind groups, but on a smaller level, where it's people whose actions impact those right next to them, and making sure everybody's on the same page. And tennis is doing the same thing. We've got this Tennis Industry United group that's come together of USTA, USPTA, PTR, ITA, Tennis Industry Association, and they've got this website now where they've got resources available to coaches, to clubs, to players who are looking for ways to stay afloat financially during this crisis. And I want to urge everybody that is in the tennis world to take a look at it, because it will give you some guidance. Apparently, and I haven't listened to it yet, but there's a podcast on the page that is very helpful and has some really, really good information. So if you're a coach, if you're a club owner, if you're a tournament director, if you're a professional player, I want to urge you to go take a look at this Industry United site and look through the resources and see if there's something there that can help you. But in the meantime, we all have to do our part. And I'm like I said, I'm seeing too many people, and you too, Dewey, are seeing this, people posting video and statements online about, you know, screw it, this doesn't impact me. I think I'm fine. My kids are fine. We're going to the park. I had an incident in my neighborhood here in Southern California where a mom and her young kids broke through the barrier tape on the local playground, which has been up with a sign since this all started saying the playground is off limits. This mom and her kids broke through the barrier and were playing on the playground equipment because what? The rules don't apply to them? COVID-19 isn't going to hit them? Do they think they're part of the Passover story and they've put lamb's blood on their doorposts so they're going to be passed over? Bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
I,
I
I,
just don't understand.
I I don't know if I've been here for a while or if it's just the emotions of the moment have me speaking and saying, I actually believe for the moment, every tennis net should be taken down. That shouldn't be an option for people to skirt what is going on. I believe just take them all down. People don't get to play. If they want to play over two posts with nothing in between them, well, there's that. But
Yeah.
we seem to
And I
have
mean, the same
made,
with golf. The same with
yeah,
golf. People are telling me, that live in golf communities that they're seeing golf carts packed full of people driving on the golf course or even driving around the neighborhood, and it's obviously not a family. It's, packed full of adults that, likely are not living in the same household.
so what's it gonna look like? What's it gonna take for us to open this back up? How do we get going again in tennis? The USTA within the last day or two, the days all kind of mushed together,
I
has
know.
pushed back the competition structure. So anything sanctioned by USTA, whether it be an adult league, junior team tennis, a tournament, to a certain level, has been pushed back even further now. That the
Right,
major
to the end of
national
May.
events, right? The major national events pushed are following the ITF, WTA, ATP schedule, which currently is, I believe, July 12th. But they're saying that national clay courts, which start on July 11th, currently are scheduled as that they will be happening. Um,
And I interviewed Tim Russell, the CEO of the Intercollegiate Tennis Association (ITA), yesterday on our Facebook, and they're still planning for their summer circuit to go forward, God willing. But I think it's okay to say right now that a July event may happen. I think it's okay to say that. I think we all realize the likelihood of that really happening is pretty slim because nobody's been on the court. So who's going to
right.
be ready for competition in July if they haven't been training? And I just don't see it. But it was interesting talking to Tim too about what's going on with college tennis and recruiting, and the short answer is there are no answers yet. And people, as I was doing this Facebook Live with Tim yesterday, people are typing in comments and questions, what about this? What about this? And I'm asking the questions, but there's no answers to the questions right now. We don't know what if college campuses are even going to open in August or September, whenever, if
Hmm.
they're on semesters or quarters. We don't know if they're going to be open. We don't know if students are going to be invited back to campus to live in dorms, to train in athletic facilities. We don't know any of that right now. So to start trying to speculate about what's going to happen with college tennis, it's just too early to do that. Um, I can offer my opinion about what I think, which is I think fall tennis ain't going to happen on college campuses. I think that's gone.
Yep.
And, hopefully we'll have this thing under control in time for the spring season. But how's that going to be impacted if football gets pushed back and basketball gets pushed back? And, there are just so
Yeah.
many unknowns, and it's a domino effect.
I think we're in real danger of seeing non-revenue sports across the board go by the wayside. There is, I guess, University of Cincinnati just cut their men's soccer program,
Yep.
which now so there's a whole bunch of male scholarships which go away, which then clears the way to start cutting programs on the women's side and still stay in compliance with Title IX. Um,
Yep.
I think we're just seeing the first couple of dominoes fall, and whether that
And we're
means
also seeing coaches retire. I think coaches that were on the fence about whether to come back another year, they're saying, no, now's the time to retire and move on with my life. So there's a lot of stuff that's starting to happen, which really is sad to me and kind of scares me a little bit because I feel like when you react in a time of crisis, it might not be the most well thought out reaction.
no, but I think it also provides an opportunity, and not the coaches retiring or feeling like they need to retire because this is the end, but there's an opportunity for people to do some things that they've thought of doing, now have the chance to try. And I think about Monica Seles and the tragedy of Monica Seles being stabbed by a fan of another player. And what happened during that time? Well, what happened during that time was she found out that she liked some other things. And so when she came back, she struggled with that single totally focused mindset, which had enabled her to reach number one in the world. And when she realized that I like some other things, I can do some other things, I can still be top 10 in the world without having to forego all of these other things. And if people, if this gives them a chance to figure out, well, what do I want to do next? Because we've long been past that place where you get out of college, you get a job, and you retire from the same place where you've worked for 40 years or whatever that
Yeah.
happens to be, right? So we change careers, I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, an average of 5 times or something in our lifetimes. So maybe this is that opportunity for a lot of people who have felt stuck to figure
That's
out
true.
what's gonna come next. How do I find something that I have passion for, that I have time to dig into, and turn that into a revenue generator for me? I know there are some things I'm involved in, which I'll probably be talking about next week. I can't kind of get fully into it right now, but which this has provided the opportunity to jump in and to do. And I think if you know me at all,
Hmm.
I've struggled for the last couple of years of what does that look like post running tennis centers and being a tennis coach, and spending 60, 70, 80 hours a week in the on court kind of tennis world. And this has
Right.
provided me an opportunity to possibly see a real path um, to doing what's going to be next, and what this new reality is going to look like. Because I honestly don't think tennis tournaments are coming back in this year at any level, um, other than possibly UTR local events. I
Yeah.
think this is going to be an opportunity for UTR to shine and have some local events, get a chance to compete against the kids that maybe you don't see all the time, because they play nationally and they're not going to be able to get on planes and travel to these other places. So they're going to be playing close to home, and it might make local tennis stronger like it
A
used to
little
be.
better. Well, and I just want to point out that USTA is moving forward with their structural changes for 2021 in junior competition. And I posted earlier this week, I think, a link to a webinar that was held last week discussing in more depth what the 2021 changes are. So I think it's important that we stay up on what's happening with USTA and with the rankings and the tournament structure and all of that. But I'm with you, Dewey. I think this is going to be a real opportunity for local play to be the focus. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens. As you were talking about people having the opportunity to pursue other interests, I kept thinking about David Epstein's book Range, and how he talks about, bringing things that you've done in different settings, whether it's a job or an educational setting or a living situation, and how it's so important to bring those experiences to a non-traditional, or in a non-traditional manner. And I was having a conversation with my dad, who is a medical doctor, a surgeon, about treatment for COVID-19 and vaccines and all of that. And he was saying that he thinks it's going to take something innovative, someone outside of the science community, someone outside of the medical community, to come up with a solution here. And that kind of feeds into what you were saying, Dewey, about people pursuing other interests. And what David Epstein writes is, a lot of times what we've seen historically is solutions to problems have come from the most unlikely of sources. And maybe that's what's going to happen here. I don't know, but
Yeah,
we've
the
been going
greatest
on for a long time now. Do we
yeah,
need to wrap this up for
but
this
it's
week?
true. The greatest innovations have largely come when something which was commonly used in one industry is then brought to a different industry which has never
Yeah,
seen it before. So it becomes innovative, and that's where
yeah,
a lot of the greatest problem solutions have come from in the past. It's just migrating information and technology from one place into another that hasn't seen it before, and it becomes a great
right,
solution. So
right, right.
yeah,
Well, I think we should wrap this up. And I want to just say to you on a personal note, my heart's breaking for you. I'm really sorry about the loss of your coach. And um, I hope you have an opportunity to connect with the others that he touched as well, and that y'all can tell some stories and share some memories and honor him in the way that you feel is most appropriate.
yeah, I'm truly blessed in that I have this medium available to me and the technology to produce this type of show, and ones which bring more people in. And I guess I got to sit and put my head together with both my team and some of my former teammates, and figure out what will be the best way that we can use this technology to honor someone who has touched more lives and impact, where he dropped more pebbles in the ocean, where those ripples will reach the shore so far beyond where any of us will ever see. I was truly blessed to have him impact part of my life, and guess I get to figuring it out. Let's get
Yeah.
back at this next week. Hopefully, we'll both be in a place where we're not feeling like we got to rail against people. But if you are one of those absolute, what I'm going to call, back when I used to do rants and raves, I had a term for people who are like those I believe are not thinking about others and just about themselves and want to get out and play tennis. And I called those people idiots. If you're one of those idiots, come on my Facebook page, bring it. I'm ready. I had it out with a few days ago. I'm even more in that mode right at the moment. But hopefully I don't feel like that next week, because let's come up with solutions, not worry about the
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I agree. All right. Dewey, hang in there, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
yes, ma'am. Look forward to it.
All right.
Be
All
well.
right. Thanks, all. You too.